Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is Wyln News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. Wyln News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on Wyln News. I'm Preston Endress. A Cunningham Township house is still standing after firefighters quickly extinguished a fire there Sunday afternoon. Members of Makonakwa Volunteer Fire Company No. 1 found smoke rising from the attic when they arrived. The fire was quickly put under control with the assistance of fire crews from Nanticoke, Reliance, and Huntington. There was a collapse of the second floor, and the first floor has water damage, but the overall structure of the house remains intact. No injuries were reported. Officials believe the fire started in a first-floor ceiling fan. The home was undergoing renovations, and no one was living there at the time of the fire. A 16-year-old Hazleton boy is facing robbery and carjacking charges, according to Pennsylvania State Police. Investigators from Pennsylvania State Police Troop N in Hazleton say the incident happened around 11 a.m. on July 23rd along Airport Road in Hazel Township. Authorities say the teen approached a 2021 silver Honda while the owner was sitting in the driver's seat. He allegedly ordered the victim out, forcibly removed him from the vehicle, and then took off in the car. The stolen Honda didn't get far. Troopers say the teen crashed the vehicle shortly after driving away and was arrested. The Wyoming County Sheriff's Office is looking for a woman that may be living in Nanticoke. A bench warrant has been issued for Alice Morgan Stewart after she failed to appear in court for charges of receiving stolen property and false identification to law enforcement. The Sheriff's Office believes that she may be living in a Nanticoke apartment near a CVS on Kosciuszko Street. They say she could also be in the Wilkes-Barre City area. If you have any information about Stewart's location, you can contact the Wyoming County Sheriff's Office at 570-996-2265 or through their Facebook page. Starting today, August 25th through September 12th, South Poplar Street in Hazleton will be closed in both directions at the railroad tracks near 601 South Poplar Street. The closure will allow for railroad track repairs along with the installation of a new storm box designed to improve drainage, a project costing about $4,000. The closure will affect traffic flow in several areas. Drivers heading south on Poplar Street from Broad Street and Buttonwood Street will not be able to reach the Arthur Gardner Highway, Route 424. Motorists coming from Route 424 and Jeansville will not be able to access Broad Street or Buttonwood Street by way of Poplar Street. If you are planning on doing any early Labor Day traveling this week, be sure to check out any delays before you go. The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation has announced interstate lane restrictions in Luzerne County through Thursday. Here is their work schedule for the week. The work is expected to be done from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. each day. On Tuesday and Wednesday, Interstate 81 southbound will be restricted between Exit 143 Hazleton and Exit 141 Hazleton Beltway. On Thursday, Interstate 81 northbound will be restricted between Exit 143 Hazleton and Exit 145 West Hazleton. For information on routes and how roadwork can affect your travel, you can visit 511pa.com. With the Little League World Series ending in a 7-0 win for Chinese Taipei, the two-week event brought in about 70,000 fans and roughly $40 million to the state of Pennsylvania, according to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. Of the money brought in, Governor Josh Shapiro and his administration said that $523,000 will be put towards improvements to the home site at Bowman Field in Williamsport. Aside from the stadium, the money will also be put towards the Williamsport Welcomes the World Street Festival and the annual Grand Slam Parade. Ann Ryan, DCED Deputy Secretary of Tourism, said that the Little League World Series has a big impact on the economy of Pennsylvania, and the Shapiro administration sees the impact and is always looking for new ways to improve on the event and attract more visitors. Coming up on Wyln News, it was a busy weekend of fun throughout Luzerne County with events for all ages. Plus, we find out what happens to those electronics you drop off for recycling. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Wyln News brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton's emergency room team. Your experts in any emergency. When emergencies happen, minutes and expertise count. Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton is now part of Jefferson Health. want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Welcome back to WYLN News. Hazleton's Emergency Services were happy to be part of the annual National Night Out along Alter and 10th Street. This year's event included the Hazleton Fire Department, the Hazleton City Police, and the Hazleton Division of LVHN. Attendees got to enjoy food, play vendor activities, and had the chance to interact and bond with the local authorities, mainly the police. It was all part of the plan to keep the relationship between the people and the police positive and steady. Officer Jessica Sirkin was happy to talk about this night out's turnout.
We have had an amazing turnout, especially with how we got kind of washed out last year. I think a lot of people were excited to be able to return this year.
PA State Representative Dane Watrow was also happy to be included and give his input on what the event is about.
Yeah, National Night Out today here in the city of Hazleton. Great turnout, a lot of kids, a lot of information we have here on site. We have coloring books for kids. We have driver's license books, so if you're going to be turning 16 years old, get it right here. Also, so many vendors out here. The city has their vehicles out here. Good stuff, good information for the young folks, and I hope to see a lot more this evening.
To make things more entertaining for a National Night Out, they got a special appearance from Transformers' Optimus Prime himself, with the help from business owner Sarah Durr of Paws, Claws, and Beaks, with the intent of supporting a good cause.
So we're here with first Optimus Prime. We do have Bumblebee, but Bee is home sleeping. Optimus Prime, we decided to start this business because there's a lot of children in the area. There's not really much for them to do. We do private events, we do public events, we do fundraising. And it's something that we have yet to see in the area and was offered to us. Financial was good, and we went out and we made it possible for the children to come together and enjoy two of their favorite Transformers. Joey here, my Ruby Macaw. Joey here is going to be 14 years old in November. He was a rescue from Ohio. I have 5 macaws. I own a business called Paws, Claws, and Beaks by Sarah Durr. I travel to people's homes cutting animal nails. I do service everything imaginable: cats, dogs, rabbits, guinea pigs, reptiles, but I do also take much pride in my birds. I do their wings if requested. I do their feet and their beaks.
The annual National Night Out is open and free to the public, with plans to continue years to come. Craft beverage lovers raised their glasses in Hazleton this weekend for one of the area's most popular summer traditions. The Hazleton Rotary Wine and Beer Festival was held at City View Park on Saturday, drawing a big turnout from across the region. From noon until 6, guests sampled dozens of wines, craft beers, spirits, and even steak at the annual festival. Live music from Boots and Bangs and Ostrich Hat kept the energy high as the crowd soaked up the summer sunshine. Organizers say this year's event went smoothly and was a big success.
What an amazing day we had at our Hazleton Wine and Beer Festival. Oh my God, the bands, Ostrich Hat, Boots and Bangs, our vendors were serving it up big time, and oh my God, the crowd was just stellar. And you couldn't ask for a better day because the weather was awesome. So thank you to everyone who made this happen.
All proceeds benefit local community service projects through the Hazleton Rotary Club, meaning every sip and every ticket goes back into helping the area. Rotary leaders thank the community for showing up, saying it's support like this that keeps the festival growing year after year. The 6th annual Hazleton City Children's Festival had a record turnout Sunday at Hazel Township Community Park. Children and teens enjoyed crafts, interactive exhibits, and lots of fun at the free event sponsored by the local nonprofit Hazleton Power. Their mission is to promote the region as a vital and pleasurable place to live, work, and play. Officials say that over 2,000 children attended with their families. There were 84 vendors with 20 food trucks to serve everyone. Hazelton Power hopes that they can attract even more sponsors and vendors for next year's event. Anyone interested can visit their Facebook page. On Saturday, August 23rd, the Hazelton City Authority successfully carried out its 8th annual electronics recycling event. Residents from all around got the chance to give away their unwanted electronic devices behind the Authority building, ranging from television sets to game consoles. Within the first hour, at least 3 trucks were filled. Hazelton's recycling coordinator, Charles Pedri, explained the logistics of the important event.
We have our annual electronic recycling event. This is in conjunction with the Hazelton City Authority. It's a joint venture that we put on once a year to make sure that people can take out their electronics out of their house, specifically televisions, which are the major problem. We only charge a percentage, $20 per car and $20 for any extra TVs. And in addition to that, we get money from the county for the recycling event. We also get money, from the fees that are paid, and then Hazelton and the Hazelton City Authority puts in the remaining balance for the recycling event.
Coming up on Freeland's News Choice, we talked to Romilda Crocamo about our future town halls and how you can participate on this week's Crocomo's County Report. Plus, Wyln historian Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Hughesville Part 1. Stay right here on Wyln. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazelton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Hi, welcome to Crocomo's County Report. I'm the host today, Preston Anderson. Here with me is my good friend Romilda Crocamo. How are you today?
Very well. How are you?
I've been pretty good. A lot of good things have been going on. Would you say?
Yes, I would say that.
Yeah, good. Now, regarding something that's upcoming, so you would be a part of it, and you should probably give a little summary about what's going to happen soon.
Well, on the 21st, Thursday the 21st at 5 o'clock at the Bear Creek Municipal Building, we'll be having one of our town hall meetings. I've been trying to go throughout the county and to meet the people, to talk about what the county does. My division heads come with me and they explain the work that the county does, and to listen to what the residents, the needs that they have, if they have some suggestions on how to improve our services, and to tell us basically how we're doing. So I've been enjoying meeting all the different people throughout the county. We have a very diverse county. But this one is in Bear Creek.
Yeah, I'm all for a lot of diversity because we don't want to have things too repetitive or too redundant. It's
right. The needs are different.
Yeah.
Needs in Hazelton are different than the needs in Bear Creek. There are some needs that are universal, but we have very unique areas.
And are there any special needs and requests in particular that really perked people up, or has it all just been basic stuff?
Depending on the area, it's mostly roads and bridges that there are issues, and there are some issues like the cooperation when it comes to trails. We have a lot of beautiful trails, and different municipalities are really trying to promote our trails. And we can be a part of it. The county can be a part of it, even if it's not on land that the county doesn't own.
And I'm assuming, based on the roads, that people are still dealing with the usual occasions like potholes, or that's the only thing I can think of.
Well, potholes in some of our roads have been neglected for far too long. But we do have a priority system with our engineer, and we're going to start maintenance programs. We're putting that into the 2026 budget.
And trails are usually for, I'm assuming, exercise, walking?
Yeah, if people who like the outdoors. I have a lot of very dear and close friends who like to hike. I'm really not part of that group, but I appreciate it, and we have a responsibility to make sure that our natural habitats are preserved.
So basically, a good summarization of all this would be that it's a good community and wanting to keep it nice and peaceful for the people, and they can have places to go to, places to drive, all for the sake of keeping it a place that you'd recommend to a friend or a relative.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, and is there anything else that this meeting would contribute to, or is that all the?
It's always a surprise, some of the issues that arise, but we'll be there to answer your questions.
Okay. And is there anything else that's coming up that you'd like to point out?
Well, we're working on the budget. We're meeting with our department heads, and we meet with them about 3 times before we actually submit the budget. We'll be talking to them to find out what their needs are, what their wishes are, and then we start crunching the numbers.
And ultimately, the budget does contribute to everything, including the things that this exact meeting will be.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so is that all there is to
well,
it?
there's a lot going on in the county. Obviously, I'm wearing my emergency services shirt. We'll be having a trunk and treat, and along with events with our children, youth, and families, with getting school supplies for the kids. You can find out all that information on the county website.
Okay, we will recommend that website link to everyone watching. And is that all you'd like to point out there today for this?
That's a lot.
Yeah, that should be just enough. All right then. So with that said, I guess we'll just leave it at that for Crook-Most County Report today, and we'll see you next time.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600. A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
The first known European to settle in the area of today's Hughesville was David Aspen, who arrived in 1777. He would be killed by local Native Americans the following year while traveling back to his farm from Fort Muncie, where he had taken shelter during previous Native attacks on settlers in the area. A later prominent landowner in the area would be John Heap, who took possession of his holdings in May 1793. And then there would be Jephthah Hughes. Born in Danville in 1791, he was the son of Quaker Thomas Hughes, who had built Danville's Presbyterian Church. Jephthah became quite well-to-do in his own right, and in 1816 he purchased John Heap's land and began laying out the beginnings of a community on it. 4 years later, Hughes sold his holdings to Daniel Harold and moved with his wife, the former Elizabeth Hill, and their 8 children north of Tioga County. They settled on what was named Beecher's Island near Blossburg Mountain, where coal was prevalent. Hughes foresightly knew that the coal would make a fortune for others, and indeed, in subsequent years, the Erie Railroad would build a line from the mines at Blossburg to Tioga Junction. Hughes subsequently moved again to the town of Mitchell's Creek, alongside today's Route 15, and died there in 1866. Jephthah Hughes rests today in Tioga County, in Tioga's Evergreen Cemetery. Back in Lycoming County, the community Jephthah Hughes had left behind would be named in his honor, originally as Hughesburg, but later Hughesville when it was incorporated in 1852. The first tavern in town was opened by Paul Willey in 1820. The first doctor in Hughesville was Dr. John W. Peel, who arrived in 1828, and the Tingling Corson Blacksmith Shop was the first of its kind in the community, opened for service in 1820. As with many towns of the time, milling was a strong early business in the community. The first mill in town was built by Jacob Clayton in 1819 on Race and Mill Streets. Civil War troops gathered there in 1861 for a final meal before going off to war. The mill burned down later in 1861. It was subsequently rebuilt. The facility, then known as Ball's Mill, burned down again in 1912. A third brick mill rose on the site again in 1916. It was at this time that the mill's wheel was replaced by turbines. Now called the Keystone Mill, its mill race was closed in 1957, no longer having enough water to run the mill hydrologically due to the ice damage on the race a decade prior. The mill is subsequently electrified and continues in operation to this day. Another Hughes mill got started in 1912, purchased by father and son Samuel and Raymond Faught in 1926, and renamed to the Samuel Faught and Sons Mill. Upon Samuel's death in 1944, it was renamed to the R.S. Faught and Sons Mill. By 1979, when Raymond's son Benjamin Robert owned it, it was Pennsylvania's largest buckwheat mill still in operation. Its time would come to an end that year, however, as on May 20th, 1979, a tremendous fire broke out in the mill, effectively destroying it. It would later be determined that the fire was caused by the spontaneous combustion of high-moisture dog food being stored in the mill's attic, which was heated up by sunlight to the point of conflagration. The Faughts Mill's operations were subsequently moved to the Keystone Mill. For education, the youth of Hughesville could go to the Newman one-room schoolhouse, which opened for classes in 1841. It was rebuilt in 1876, and the current red brick building was built in 1897. The last classes at the Newman School were in 1955. Today, the school building, which still stands along today's Route 220, serves as the Little Red Schoolhouse Museum. One of Hughesville's biggest notable early businesses was the Rishel Furniture Company. It had begun as a planing mill owned by James Laird in the 1850s. In 1869, his son John entered into a partnership with Dr. J.K. Rishel. Their factory, which made bedroom suites, eventually took up the entire block of Academy Street between 3rd and 4th Streets, between two 3-story buildings connected with an enclosed conveyor belt. With 295,932 square feet of interior floor space, the Rishel Furniture Factory once advertised itself as the largest factory in the entire United States. Rishel merged with Williamsport's Auto Furniture Factory in 1900, and subsequently began making dining room suites to complement their bedroom suites. For many decades, the Rishel Furniture Factory is one of Hughesville's biggest employers. Its time would come to a grim end, though, on the evening of November 4th, 1965. Shortly after the second shift had left the factory around 12:30 a.m., a massive fire broke out in the building. It soon consumed the entire complex, aided by a strong wind. Flames would get intense enough that metal roof pieces and lacquer barrels exploded high in the air from the heat, and nearly a dozen nearby homes suffered paint blistering and smoke damage. 9 fire companies with over 300 responding firefighters battled the blaze for the next several hours. No one was injured in the fire, but when it was finally extinguished, the factory was a complete loss. Rishel Furniture subsequently moved its Hughesville employees to a satellite factory in Williamsport. Industry also took roots on the outside of Hughesville proper in the community's early years. Just north of Hughesville, on the road to Picture Rocks, the village of Bryantown sprang up in the early 1800s. A woolen mill was built by community founder Ellis Bryan in 1830. It It would be replaced by a larger 3-story building in 1866. It was operated by water power from a nearby waterfall. 25,000 pounds of wool per year were processed at the mill, originally exclusively to make yarn, but eventually for a wider range of products, including clothing and blankets. The success of the Wyln mill led to the birth of other mills in the Bryantown area, among them a grist mill and a hub factory, which originally made hubs for cannons during the Civil War, and afterwards switched to making hubs for wagon wheels. Known in its later years as the Eagle Mill, the Wyln Mill of Bryantown last operated regularly in 1925, although production would continue on a restricted basis through 1939. The Bryantown Wyln Mill was torn down in 1953. The first Lycoming County Fair was held in Williamsport around 1859. Roughly a decade later, 10 prominent residents of the Muncie Valley met in 1868 at Hughesville's Oddfellows Hall and formed the Muncie Valley Farmers Club, with Dr. George Hill elected as its first president, to discuss agricultural topics. The group would decide 2 years later to hold their own farming exhibition. The Hughesville Trotting Park on the southern side of the borough was chosen as the location for this exhibition, known at the time as the Farmers Club Fair, which today is considered to officially be the first Lycoming County Fair. The inaugural 1870 fair had 1,000 entrants and featured a parade including the Hughesville Band and livestock marching through the town to the fairgrounds. In the fair's early years, it was held from Monday through Saturday, and beginning in 1873, the very first newspaper in Hughesville, the Canuserago Daily Herald, was published during Fair Week, with a subscription cost of $25 for all 6 issues. The fair moved to its current site in 1874, originally encompassing 20 acres of land. Williamsport, though, still made its case in the late 19th century to be the fair's permanent location, holding its own fairs during this time both the site of today's Bowman Field and the city's Valemont section. Eventually, the Hughesville location proved to have larger support, and it was chosen as the Lycoming County Fair's permanent site in the early 1900s, although the Fair's Association did not formally purchase this land until 1915. A clay racetrack was built on the fairgrounds in 1916. Originally used exclusively for horse racing, it held motorcycle and automobile racing in the 1920s, with such well-known drivers of the time as Joey Chitwood, Ted Horn, and Johnny Parsons. Car racing continued at the fair through the 1950s. Construction began in the late 20s on an airfield at the fairgrounds. It was dedicated in September 1930 and would become a critical refueling stop for mail flights between New York City and Cleveland. The airport would have its first official use a year before its official opening, however, on March 14, 1929. Amelia Earhart, who was flying toward Bellefonte, got lost en route, and noticing the fairgrounds airfield, made an emergency landing on it before her fuel ran out. The fair was not held from 1942 to 1944 due to World War II, and suffered a loss on September 4, 1944, when a large wooden exhibition building was struck by lightning and burned down. The fair reopened in 1945. The airfield was removed in the 1950s, around the time the fair was moved from the fall to mid-July and expanded to 10 days. The fair was shut down again during a massive windstorm in 1969, which was severe enough that it blew over concrete grandstand support poles and knocked down a barn, allowing several racehorses to run loose. Today, the Lycoming County Fair remains a major seasonal attraction in the Hughesville area, bringing joy to both young and old.
You're watching WYLN TV 35,